hook. Imagine coming home from a year-long deployment overseas, thinking about nothing but hugging your family, and finally walking your own land again, only to discover that the piece of property you had worked, saved, and sacrificed for your sanctuary had been stolen right from under you. Worse yet, it wasn't some stranger, but the very homeowners association that was supposed to protect the neighborhood. This isn't just a story of betrayal. It's a story of justice, perseverance, and what happens when the wrong soldier gets pushed too far. Stick with me to the end, because what unfolded shocked an entire community and left a permanent mark on how far one man will go to reclaim what is his. I bought that land with my signing bonus after my first tour. It wasn't much to anyone else. A modest corner lot on the edge of a subdivision. But, to me, it was everything. A place I dreamed of building a home once I was done with deployments. My little slice of peace in a world that was anything but peaceful. Before leaving again, I made sure taxes were paid, paperwork was squared away, and my neighbors knew I'd be gone for another 12 months. I'd even walked the property line with my father before I left, running my boots through the tall grass, imagining the house I'd one day raise my kids in. Deployment has a way of making you forget about home. You focus on survival, on keeping your brothers and sisters safe. But every so often, in the quiet moments, I'd think about that patch of dirt and grass back home. It gave me something to hold on to. When I finally came back, wary but grateful, I drove straight from the base to the subdivision. I expected overgrown weeds, maybe a few fallen branches. What I didn't expect was to find a paved road cutting right through the middle of it. My land wasn't my land anymore. A row of freshly built houses stood where my trees used to be. A mailbox with someone else's name was nailed into the ground. I felt like the air had been sucked right out of my chest. I went to the HOA office in disbelief, demanding answers. That's when they told me the most gut-wrenching words I'd ever heard. Your land was considered vacant and unpaid. It was auctioned off while you were gone. It's no longer yours. Vacant. Unpaid. I had bank records, receipts, proof of ownership, and yet here they were, shrugging at me as if losing my land was some clerical mistake I'd just have to move on from. But here's the thing about soldiers, we don't just move on when something is stolen from us. We fight back. At first, I tried the legal route. I hired an attorney, sent letters, showed documentation. But the HOA had lawyers of their own, polished and smug. They claimed the foreclosure was final, and that the new homeowners had rights. Every letter I got back felt like another door slamming in my face. I thought about walking away. The exhaustion of fighting a system built to crush people like me was almost too much. But then I remembered the nights in the desert, when we fought against impossible odds because we believed in something bigger than ourselves. If I could face mortar fire, I could face an HOA. So I called in reinforcements. Not soldiers with rifles, but the military legal system itself. See, the Service Members Civil Relief Act protects deployed soldiers from losing property due to foreclosure. The HOA had violated federal law, and that meant the entire subdivision built on my land was sitting on stolen ground. The military took my case. They didn't just come with lawyers. They came with authority. Within weeks, the subdivision's paperwork was under federal review. The families who had unknowingly bought houses were horrified to learn they might not legally own them. And the HOA? Their smug smiles vanished. The moment they realized they weren't fighting just me anymore. They were fighting the United States military. The court ruling came swift and decisive. The foreclosure was invalid, the sale was void, and the land, including every shiny new home built on it, belonged to me once again. I'll never forget walking that lot again, this time with military officers and court-martials standing at my side, the HOA president glaring from across the street. I had fought wars overseas, but this battle at home was the sweetest victory of them all. In the end, I didn't keep the houses. I worked with the families. many of them innocent in this mess, to negotiate fair terms. But the HOA, they were dissolved, fined heavily, and barred from operating again. Justice wasn't just served. It was burned into the ground they had stolen. Closing message. When you wear the uniform, you don't just fight for freedom abroad. You fight for fairness at home. My land wasn't just dirt and grass. It was a symbol of sacrifice, a promise to myself that no one had the right to take away. So if you've ever been told you're powerless against a system, remember this story. Remember that persistence, truth, and the courage to fight back can turn the tide, even when the odds are stacked against you. And to that HOA, let's just say, they'll never forget the day they tried to steal from a soldier